Hello. Um, First thing I want to do is I want to start with a channel update video. And oh, oh, okay. So first things first. This is my face. I'm sure you guys have seen my face on occasion, but I try and keep my face out of my videos. I try and focus more on perhaps sharing my webcam during streaming since I don't exactly have, you know, the best looking setup back here. Um, I am in my childhood bedroom, and quite frankly, I'm kind of glad the camera there wasn't pointed anywhere close to anywhere further down because it's a fucking mess in here. Um, right, so a few things I want to go through in this channel update video um, is kind of the following. So when I started, it used to be I'd upload a video every 2 weeks, and I didn't like that. I understood it. I knew why I did it that way, and it was basically because it was too much of a hassle. Um, with my grandparents, because this is my house, this is their house. It was too much of a hassle to fight with my grandparents about who gets what and how much and why. So I went, you know what? Screw it. I'll just upload a video every 2 weeks when I'm at a place with unlimited internet and they can go shove it up their. Anyway, so with that being said, um, I present to you this document. Admittedly, some of the information was outdated because I literally just. This is a spreadsheet that I made for my grandfather. Hold on, I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. For the most part. Anyway, um, this is a spreadsheet that I made for my grandfather, um, to kind of give him an idea of where data usage was going. Now, for clarification, back when this was originally written, I was allotted 90 gigabytes a month. After 90 gigabytes, I got nothing. Um, so that's part A. Part B is I live in the middle of butt fucking nowhere, and I do mean that literally. Um, I am an hour's walk from anywhere notable. Actually, pardon me, that's a lie. I'm about 16 hours walk to anywhere of any particular value or interest, which also for you driving people is about an hour at 110 kilometers an hour, which is approximately 85, 65 miles per hour, something like that. So because of that, I was kind of screwed um, when I started YouTube. And quite frankly, I started YouTube just as like a thought experiment. You know, here's something to do on my free weekend just because. So with that being said, I'm going to invite you guys a little bit of a look into a bit of my personal life. Not too in depth, so don't worry about any trauma dumping or any of that. I'm over that phase. And quite frankly, if you ask me, I've become a lot better person considering. But that's as far in depth as I'm going to go about that. So, Roll 20 and Discord. Two I'm sure you guys know about it, but for those of you who don't, Discord is just it's an online chatting app. I have a whole bunch of friends um on Discord. I have people who, excuse me, people who have asked me or helped me quite a bit in my history. This is just a brief look at my Discord server. This is sort of a prototype, is basically what it works out to, because I did this up when I was like 12. Um, but yeah, a few notable groups that I will mention is like Spange, which is this server. Um, Loco, he's a guy who does a bunch of StarCraft 2 videos like me, but he does a lot of competitive play. Um, YouTube videos, and these guys have helped me quite a bit. So I thought I'd give them a bit of a shout out. Now, on that note, Discord Roll20, I use these primarily for gaming, but it's not online gaming sort of thing. Roll20 is a online role play game sort of platform thing because I play D&D. And well, actually I play Pathfinder. My friends got me into D&D. Um so yeah. Obviously, you have your app updates, which take up a stupidly low number, but it still affects the end numbers. Which brings us to this number. And this is probably the only important number in all that I've said so far. Um, Keeping in mind that this was done up when I was 90 gigabytes a month. Okay. So 52 gigabytes was quite a bit of data for me at that time. And keeping in mind, this was made, I think, after like my 30th video or something like that. So the first 30 videos of my YouTube channel, this spreadsheet heavily affected. So now I'm seeing this number and I'm hoping that I can convince myself and my body to not be afraid to go over, because it is an actual like locked cap. I reach my limit and it shuts off my access immediately. I don't get an extra gigabyte if I'm doing something or nothing like that. Which is basically a long-winded way of saying I could probably post about 3 videos a week, but I'm scared shitless too. So that's a mental thing for me, and I'm going to try and work on that for you guys. The other major thing is I tend to upload my videos at night when I'm sleeping, because I'm not going to sit there and be able to do nothing on my computer, because my network is loaded up to the bloody brim because I've got 10 megabytes a second going through it because I'm uploading a video, and I can't close the tab, or otherwise I'm going to lose the video, lose the data, and have to start all over. So the reason why that's important is because my grandfather, for whatever godly, unknowable reason, has a lock on the internet so that it shuts off at 10 o'clock at night, which makes it a little bit more difficult for me. Um, as for my schedule, because it does quite heavily affect YouTube for me, uh, this is my schedule. It's basically I'm either working and eating, or I'm sleeping. And for most people, I've put down a job list only by virtue of the fact that I've had several dozen people come up to me and go, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And I've actually told them it's better to ask me what I don't do for work. So, first of all, I have my own construction business, and a bit of a side note, all the things I have done that has turned into businesses or things that I enjoy doing and have continued to do up to this day, including YouTube, was just a thought experiment. 3D printing was a thought experiment. The only reason why it became a business was because a buddy called me up some random Saturday and said, "Hey, I need a quote for this." My construction business, it hasn't really kicked off the ground yet, but I'm also in the process of actually gaining materials still. But the idea behind it is basically using pallet wood, which for any construction folk out there, I'm sure you're slapping your forehead going, "Oh my god, this kid is fucking stupid." Um, but pallet wood, particularly good quality pallet wood, and I don't have any in my studio at the moment. I have quite a bit sitting outside the garage. Um, Pallet wood is surprisingly versatile, especially if you know which ones to use as firewood and which ones can actually be saved. I've also found quite a few decent plywood um, sheets, half-inch sheets, in with pallets at my local Walmart sort of thing. Keeping in mind I live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. The closest Walmart to me is a half hour that way. Um, in the rural communities, I've had no trouble finding places that are willing to offer me pallets for anyone who is interested. In rural communities, I've had a hard time finding someone who's not willing to just go here, have these pallets. Um, but in the bigger cities, Edmonton, for example, Lloydminster, for example, I'm trying to think of some of the bigger ones that might have Walmarts in them. I don't know much about abroad, but if like London or Paris, for example, had Walmarts in them, which I'm fairly confident they don't. But if they were to have Walmarts in them, for example, I'm fairly confident they wouldn't let you have pallets. Um, but yeah, the idea is to repurpose pallet wood into like chairs and tables and desks. You know, not stuff that perhaps looks pretty, but stuff that is cheap, durable, will last, and is very functional. You know, like for instance, my computer desk, which admittedly is not much of a desk at the moment, it's more like a glorified shelf. Out of pallet wood and plywood, it's probably worth about, I'd reckon about $50. Well, I'll split the difference with you. I'll go $150. This thing, bought brand new, is about 450 Canadian dollars, which for anyone who's in Britain and can do the conversions to euro works out to 900 900 British pounds. So yeah, there's that. Terrain building. This is something I wanted to get into. I watch a guy called Black Magic Crafts on YouTube, and I really love his stuff, and I wanted to try and do something like that and sell it because this guy lives all like on the uh east coast, yeah, east coast of Canada, like a couple thousand miles that way, and he doesn't sell his stuff unfortunately, but he happens to be a friend of a close friend of mine, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, there is of course YouTube, which I have tried my damnedest to not put on the back burner, but it has tended to become kind of put on the back burner. So I'm playing a little bit of catch up at the moment. Um, Hosting, I do hosting at a local bowling alley. Um, I have construction on here twice because technically speaking, I work for two different construction companies. Um, the owner of the one construction company is the mother of the owner of the second construction company. So I tend to get tossed around the two quite a bit. Um, and snow removal, I work with a buddy of mine that does snow removal all across all across Alberta. Um, so yeah. When I tell you I do nothing but work, it's because I literally do nothing but work. Um, so yeah. Now, as for the plan, this is something I've pondered. This is something I've thought about, and my first answer is I don't really have a plan. But the closest semblance I could come to having a plan is this. One, there is one more campaign, technically, depends on what you want to consider a campaign, that I have not done in StarCraft 2 yet for you guys. I haven't recorded it or anything. And crossing my fingers, this video will be uploaded 24 to 48 hours after I've recorded it. So when I mean like I haven't recorded it, I mean like this shit was not in my backlog for 18 months. And for the record, yes, my StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void stuff, that stuff from 18 months ago. I didn't have this microphone. I didn't have these headphones. I didn't have the monitor that I'm currently recording for you guys at the moment. So, my setup has entirely changed uh, quite dramatically since the last time I recorded for you guys. Okay. So with all that being said, here's the idea. I'm gonna finish the last campaign for StarCraft 2. And then I'm gonna edit, render, and upload a Valheim video that I made with my buddies. And in advance, I apologize for the piss poor audio, but we had recording issues, we had audio issues, we had all sorts of different issues. And we were already on our third recording at the time, and we had been playing the game for 14 hours straight, and we were like, fuck no, we ain't doing this shit again. So, yeah, I apologize in advance for any issues hearing people and very, very loud music. Okay, so once the Valheim video is uploaded, there's really three options that I can see. One, and write these down because I have a nasty habit of forgetting to put things in the description. One, RimWorld. I have gotten substantially far in RimWorld um since last time I recorded for you guys, and I'm feeling confident enough to try it again. Two, Oxygen Not Included. Now, admittedly, I don't feel as comfortable about this game as, say, Francis John, for example, but what can I do? Or three, I could go directly into StarCraft. And, quite frankly, I'm a little bit burnt out of the StarCraft genre. So I'm really hoping not. But I do have two additional options, which are, if I could remember to have Steam open up, but before I start talking about these games, and I'm not even sure if they're on the same account, so this might be a little bit difficult. The other two options are where is it? Fallout 4 or there was another one. I know there was another one. Oh, this is that one. I would consider Frostpunk. The problem I have with Frostpunk is the fact that I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's a Sim City builder basically, which I'm not 100% sure is how you guys are gonna fail. But that being considered, technically StarCraft 2 is a Sim City builder, but I don't know. Um, yeah. Thank you for listening to me ramble on for 20 some minutes. I hope you guys have a good day, good week, good month, good year. I'll see you next time, and hopefully I'll have my shit figured out by then.